All right. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Apostille TV. My name is Bill Soroka, and I'll tell you a little bit more
And Bill,
about
I just want to
myself
say
here
one
in just a
thing.
second. Oh, what?
Bill, I
Yeah,
just want to
Judy.
say one thing.
Sure.
Creating Apostille TV has been like one of the highlights of my career. And we're able to help notaries earn more money. And it's been such an exciting experience. And I'm thrilled that we're sharing this with all of these people. Apostilles have changed my life, and I can't wait to share this with everyone. So I'm going to throw it back to you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And if you don't know Judy yet, I wrote a book with her, and we literally added a little section to each chapter that says, "Hey, can I just say one thing?" Because Judy is famous for doing that. So she'll probably pop in here occasionally. She and I have been collaborating for years now. It started way back with a podcast called Unrestricted Fees for Apostille. And that turned into further collaborations, teaching positions, all kinds of cool stuff. And then we just published that book I just told you about. It's called Your Passport to Apostilles. It's 116 tips to build a thriving business as an apostille agent. And we love to share information that's going to help you succeed. We're both in this for the same reason. So thank you for being here, sharing your Thursday morning or afternoon, whatever it might be, with us. Today's show is really all about you and how you can grow a very lucrative line of service and revenue in your notary business when you're acting as an apostille agent, which is essentially just assisting the public with international document authentication. Now, I know that's a mouthful, but I promise you by the end of this workshop today, you're going to have a much better foundational understanding of how this all works and how you can earn revenue doing it. And we're going to have some fun today. We're going to blend in elements of classic television into the conversation just because, just like TV changed the way that we communicate, entertain, and broadcast information around the globe, your apostille business can have a global reach too, one that's genuinely a business without borders.
So, what we want to know is how many people on this call are already commissioned notaries? If you are already a notary, why don't you help us out and put a one in the chat?
There we go. Nice.
Nice. Nice. So we have a lot of notaries here, and I have a question. And the first person that answers it will just be excited. Um, Where must your little notary feet be planted in order to conduct a notarization?
Bum bum.
Bum, bum, bum.
All right.
Okay,
There's Lonnie or Lonnie. Well, with the client, yeah, there's the answer we're looking for. In the state you're commissioned in, right?
right.
You
That's
have to
right. And
be,
that's important.
yep. So in most instances, in fact, nearly all of them, your fee as the notary have to be planted in the state of your commission in order for you to notarize anything, which means you have to be there in order to generate any revenue. And we've made do with this supremely inconvenient rule for decades. But becoming an apostille agent removes that geographical burden because you can be an apostille agent in any state while your feet are planted in any state or any country for that matter. In fact, your feet don't actually have to be planted at all. You can be mid flight between adventures or sipping Mai Tais at the beach, or yes, even on a 3 hour tour. You can facilitate apostilles from anywhere. And we're going to get into that today on Apostille TV. So here's what the next 30 to 40 minutes are going to look like. We're going to tell you what an apostille actually is, why people use them, and I'll give you a little history lesson about how they came about. And then we'll talk about why people in the modern age need and use them so much. And you'll see that there are tens of millions of them issued every single year. And then we'll walk you through the process of obtaining an apostille, show you how you can be this beacon of light in the process because it can be pretty convoluted and confusing. but you can be this beacon of light and earn revenue helping the public navigate that process. And then we'll share those additional resources for those of you that are excited by this and you want to go further in your learning. We have a certification program that we will tell you about. It's a ridiculous offer today if you want to jump in. And then we'll move into the Q&A session and we'll answer any questions that you have. So Judi, come on up and why don't you do like a full introduction of yourself so people know who you are.
Oh, I can't believe people don't know who I am, but all right. Um, I wasn't always the queen of apostilles. I was not. If I was going to write a book about myself, it would probably be called Improbable because I was a paralegal, I was a secretary and a paralegal, and I expected to be doing that forever. And then downsizing came, and the rest is a dream. I founded Center City Notary, but find I did not do this to be an entrepreneur or a speaker or a businesswoman or an author, nothing like that. I needed to make money. And uh, it's as simple as that. And then after Center City got moving, I fell in love. I fell in love with apostilles. I also learned something. Apostilles were something that most people knew nothing about. Um, Now it's on everybody's website and it's on the tip of everybody's tongue. I got a call yesterday for a brand new signing company. And when I went to call them back, bam, we do signings, we do loan signings, we do this, we do that, and we do apostilles.
Mm.
So I thought that learning something was wonderful. And um, I wanted to share it with everybody. Um, and I must admit, because I do not tell a lie, one of the reasons I felt so in love with it was because it made my income so much more. Um, so shortly after learning the business, I decided, okay, I'm going out there and I'm going to be the trailblazer and I'm going to teach it. And I have taught it to numbers of people. I must tell you, I never get tired of the emails from people thanking me for changing their lives and for helping them grow. And about a year ago, with all this in mind, I collaborated with Bill to make the course even better. It's more digital, it's more exciting. And Bill will laugh, you watch him laugh when I say this, but it's just plain sexier. And we did it because Bill and I are on a mission, and that is to help you make more money.
Awesome, Judi. Thank you so much. And I'll take sexier for sure.
Hmm.
Guys, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Bill Soroka. I'm the founder of notarycoach.com. I'm also the author of 7 best-selling books that help me further my mission to help notaries serve more customers, make more money, cultivate more joy along the way, and build a thriving business that survives and thrives no matter what mortgage interest rates are doing. There's so much life beyond loan signings. And the key to success is to diversify your revenue streams. You hear that everywhere. And we have such an opportunity to do that under the notary umbrella. Throughout my, gosh, I think I'm on 27, 28, 29 years in business, I've learned to listen to those who have the results that I want. So I'm not chasing shiny objects from people who just decided one day to throw up a course or a coaching program. I've learned the hard way to go with the people who have the results I want. And that's why it's such a pleasure to share the stage with Judi. Now, if you want to learn how to build an empire in international document authentication, watch her. She's doing it. She's down in the trenches with you. This is what she does 7 days a week. If there were 8 days in the week, she would be doing it 8 days a week. She loves this work. So grab a pen and paper, take some notes, take pictures of any of these slides that appeal to you, because this may very well be the first day of the future of your new empire in apostilles. So Judi, you want to tell them a little bit about, well, let's
Sure.
start with the pronunciation.
Yeah, and yesterday, and the last couple of days, I've heard a new one, but Apostille is a French word. It means certificate. There are many ways to pronounce it. A common way I hear is apostille.
Or
That's common.
apostille.
And my personal favorite is apostille. But the last week or so, I've been hearing apostilles. That's
Oh,
something new. That's something that I hadn't heard of before. And
apostille.
Bill, you have a
Yeah,
favorite.
I do. And you guys can hear it right now. My favorite's apostille because it rhymes with the name of our podcast, Unrestricted Fees, which is another really unique benefit of this. So, as we're moving through today's training, I just want to plant that seed as we go through this. Make a note, you're not restricted by state legislated fees like you are as a notary public. And we're going to circle back to this several times today, but I just want to put that right in your brain for the rest of this presentation.
But Bill, the two most common ways to pronounce this are apostille and apostille, which apostille seems to be the official pronunciation. And then there's apostille. But I got to tell you, no matter how you pronounce it, if you know how to do it, either pronunciation will get the job done. Okay, so let's get into what an apostille actually is.
Judi, can I just say one thing?
Trying to steal my thunder? Of
Bef-
course.
yeah,
Of course you can.
before you get into what an apostille actually is, can we do a quick history lesson first?
Yeah, take it away,
Sound
Bill.
good? All right, cool. I hope we have some Golden Girls fans on this call. Picture
Oh,
it. The Hague, Netherlands, 1961. There's a group of people that organized the Hague Conference, otherwise known as the Apostille Convention. They did this to streamline the process of international document authentication because the process that which they called embassy legalization was so cumbersome and so time consuming. It was just really jamming things up. So they whip up this Apostille Treaty with some new rules and they have some certificate requirements. And then they present this to the various countries with this offer to either sign the Apostille Treaty or join the Hague Convention. If they do sign the treaty, after a certain period of time, they become what we call a Hague country. And that means that their documents can be processed with apostilles, which makes things faster, cheaper, and more efficient. Now, if they have not signed the treaty yet, then we call them non Hague countries. See how creative that is? And their documents are still processed the old way, that embassy legalization. Now, we're not going to focus too much on that part today because we're here to talk mainly about apostilles that are performed through those Hague countries. But one thing I just want you to realize is that even to this day, countries are still signing the Hague Convention. And these are big modern countries that it might surprise you. Canada just recently joined. China just recently joined. And what was it? Albania or something, Judi, I think just signed.
no, it wasn't. Yeah, it was Albania, I think.
Albania, yeah. So they're still signing
Algeria,
documents.
Algeria,
Algeria. Okay, thank
Algeria.
you. So as we move through today's training and Judi shares more about exactly what an apostille is, I want you to think of it like this. So just like you need a passport to visit and move around a foreign country legally, many documents need special certification too. So think of an apostille almost like a passport for important documents to be used in a foreign country. So with that in mind, let's listen to Judi. Judi, you want to go into a little more detail about exactly what an apostille is?
Okay, so keeping it brief, and as many of you know, I'm not real good at that. An apostille is a special certification offered by what is called the competent authority, which we'll talk about in a minute, that authenticates the seals and signatures of officials on public documents. Now, this is interesting. A lot of people don't know this, But here, Bill, can I show them? Can I see what an apostille looks like?
Absolutely. Let
Okay,
me bring that up for you.
okay. And then
Uh-oh.
where's the dragnet?
I dragged it. Uh, Inspector Gadget. Go, go, Gadget
Why do I
magnifying
call him
glass.
Dragnet all the time? Hi, Gadget. All right, so this is what the state of Florida apostille looks like. And I'm just using this as an example because the whole piece of paper here is not the apostille. The piece of paper is called an allonge, and that is spelled ALLONGE. And I just put that in the chat because that is one of the most frequently asked questions we get. Now, the paper itself is called an allonge, but from the beginning of this word, apostille, to the bottom is the actual apostille. That probably isn't something that you'll ever need to know or tell anyone, but it's good to have trivia in your own mind. So, these 10 points are on every apostille, even though apostilles look different. So Florida, this is like a grayish blue. Alabama is gold and white. Um, there's a different look. Michigan, which I believe is one of the next ones that I picked out to show you, because Michigan has the great seal on it. They're all different, but they all have the same 10 points. The country that it's been issued in, they all have the same 10 points. They're not that important for you to remember, but number 8 is very important. That is the serial number. So when these are issued, they are issued with a serial number. And when that serial number is issued, most state, I won't say most, but half the states now have the ability to check on it and see, A, was it verified correctly? Was it not fraudulent? Was it issued correctly? And B, if it's lost for any reason, they cannot replace it. They will not replace it. You cannot call them and say 42755 is missing, and they'll give you a new one. But if your client needs proof that, in fact, it was issued, if they've been waiting for a job or they've been waiting for something else, that could be the proof you need. So, what I suggest to you is that you keep a spreadsheet, and when you deliver your apostilles to clients, you say today, 12, 11, 25, the client's name and the serial number. And that way, if a year from now somebody calls you and says, I don't know, but I can't find my apostille anywhere, you can look it up under the client's name and see that today you delivered that apostille to them. Um, that's my best sage advice to you. People ask me, should I take pictures of them? Should I keep photos of them? Should I keep all this information? You can if you want to, but this is your key information to have.
Great. Thank you, Judy.
Mhm.
Now, we're going to talk a little bit about how people get an apostille. So, remember when I was telling you about the Hague Convention a few minutes ago with Sophia from Golden Girls? Well, in that Apostille Treaty, they set out these rules, and each member nation or Hague country designates their competent authority. Now, in the United States, for the most part, that's going to be the Secretary of State's office. Now, but not always. There's going to be a few states that have designated a different office to handle their apostilles, but for 92% of the states, the competent authority will be the Secretary of State's office.
Mhm.
So, when a member of the public needs an apostille for a document that's going to be used in a foreign country, this is very important. The only entity that can apostilize anything is that appropriate competent authority. And the challenge for members of the public is that they've often never heard of an apostille before they needed one. And there's usually this sense of urgency around getting it. So maybe they're getting married in Punta Cana next week, and then all of a sudden they find out that the Dominican Republic requires a birth certificate with an apostille. Or maybe they're starting a new job in Paris next month and their employer requires their college transcripts to be apostillized. They
Mhm.
have to act fast. And if they're not used to all these government processes, this bureaucracy, it can be completely overwhelming for them. And that's where you come in as an apostille agent.
So I want to say that even though I created the two words apostille agent, um, I think if I had to do over again, I would call them apostille experts because that is what your clients are craving, your expertise. Remember what Bill said, only the competent authority or the Secretary of State can issue the apostille, but a properly trained and certified apostille agent can be this beacon of light in this complicated process and help the public get apostilles faster and without errors and or rejections. An apostille agent is knowledgeable about what an apostille is, but there's more. There's more to it. Through advanced training and education, a qualified apostille expert knows how to identify the origin of the document so it can be apostilled by the correct, competent authority. An apostille agent will also know how to submit the documents for authentication, both for Hague countries, but also for non-Hague countries where we utilize something called embassy legalization. These apostille experts handle everything for the customer. And when an apostille agent is part of a powerful network, they can also leverage their resources and help to expedite the process with strategies like, and forgive me, I'm going to read these so I don't miss anything. Um, if your state will allow a copy certification, if your state will allow remote online notarization, if your state will allow copy certification by document custodian, and the future of our business, tapping into e-apostilles. So e-apostilles have changed the world, and to be honest, it's just beginning. Um, with this service, a document can be e-apostilled, emailed to the competent authority, and then emailed to the receiving country in a matter of hours. And you heard me correctly. By using e-apostilles, you eliminate the waiting, the printing, and you can satisfy a client who needs something immediately. But right now, this is just beginning. And right now, um, really the state that has gone all the way with this is Montana. Um, the other states you see up here have expressed an interest in it, but at this particular time, Montana has jumped on the bandwagon and they are doing it. And here's what you need to if you want an e-apostille, you need to contact someone in Montana to get that done for you. We will, as we hear that other states are jumping in, we will make that known to you. That's a promise. But right now, I would say if you call Maryland and say, I want to do an e-apostille, they're going to say to you, we don't do that. So that's why I wanted to make it crystal clear that these states, these 8 states, have expressed an interest in it, but aren't there yet.
Perfect. Yeah, and I'll just piggyback on that too. So no matter what state you're in, and Judi was alluding to this here, having the right contact for an
Mm-hmm,
online notary in Montana can help you tap into this program.
mm-hmm,
As long as the receiving party is okay with a remote online notarization, you can tap into Montana's e-app system. So it's pretty
mm-hmm.
cool. And hardly anybody knows about this. But
It,
this is
it,
why your knowledge as an apostille agent or the apostille expert, as Judi likes to call it, is so important. So speaking of that, now Most of you, as we determined earlier, are notaries on today's call. And we're teaching you the apostille agent opportunity for a reason. And that's because you have unique skills that can make you super effective apostille agents. So the first thing, you know how to handle paperwork with an attention to detail, right? Some of you might be as nerdy as me too, and you just live for this kind of paperwork and the special certificates, the staples, and the little ribbons on the paper. Just love that stuff. Second, because most of you are already regulated by the Secretary of State as notaries, you're more familiar than most others about how that office operates. And third, and this is a big one, most apostille document packages are going to require some kind of notarial act and certificate. So it's being a notary is not required for this, but being a notary does make it the process far more efficient. But there's another huge factor here, and this will blow your minds because it still continues to blow mine. 50% of all rejections of apostille packages that are submitted to their competent authority are rejected due to notarial error.
Yep.
Can you believe
And
that?
I want to say something, Bill.
Yeah.
Of that 50, which I think is closer now to 60, but of those 50%, a big percentage of that percentage is not understanding acknowledgments and certifications.
Yeah.
So, so your notary skills are so important. And
That's
it's
what
important to look at a document and know that the same way as if you were doing general notary work, if it needs it, you got to do it. I'll be quiet.
so what that means. No, that's great and mind blowing, right? I see the
It is.
reaction in the chat.
It is.
So what that means though is that by simply taking pride in the office that you hold as a
Mm-hmm.
notary public and performing your duties correctly,
Mm-hmm.
you solve half the apostille problems that the public may face. So you can see why being an apostille agent fits so perfectly under the notary umbrella. Plus, it's insulated from the housing market fluctuations. It's completely independent of mortgage interest rates. And circling back, it's different than your legislated notarization fees. Your duties as an apostille agent are completely independent of your notary commission. You're doing a lot more work than just the notarization piece. So you have a lot more flexibility with your fee structure. And remember what I mentioned when we started. I like using the pronunciation apostille because it rhymes with unrestricted fees, kind of. You get to offer a bundle of services that includes your time for like research, for processing. You get to charge for your knowledge, your wisdom, and your expertise. And I want to distinguish this because as I was driving over for the Montana Notary conference last year with when I was going to meet up with Judi and a whole bunch of other people from the Hague and everything, it was incredible. I was listening to a book and I heard the best way to describe the difference between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is knowing not to put it in a fruit salad. See, that's why advanced training, the powerful support network, and really good old fashioned experience is so important in this industry because technically, and you see this all over YouTube and the Facebook universities, right? Anyone can learn what an apostille is online and how to submit a request. But understanding the difference in the processes between the Hague countries, the non Hague countries, or how to determine the origin of a document, which is not always crystal clear in black and white. Or, and this is the big one, how to identify an error in a notarial certificate before it's too late, before it gets submitted. That's wisdom. And that's what makes your services as an apostille agent valuable and necessary. So you can offer this bundle of services at a particular fee. And what you'd include in your bundled services are this access to a network of professionals across the country. And this is going to include peers, colleagues, apostille couriers. If you've never heard of those, you're going to hear a lot about those here in the next few minutes. But they already exist in every single state, just at the ready to walk documents into the competent authority's office to help you get jobs done faster and more efficiently. You might also coordinate the translation of a document if the customer requests it. And yes, maybe there's a notarization required that you facilitate as well. Maybe you do it, maybe you outsource it. And of course, you can bundle any associated expenses into your fee structure too, like printing, shipping. Gosh, for the loan signing agents that have to print out 200 pages of documents on your own dime, this is refreshing. You can charge your client for your printing. So you can see this can get very lucrative very quickly if you're willing to work it. And this is, and I'm going to let Judi talk about this because this another mind blower here is just how many apostilles are generated every single year. And in 2025, states across the country have seen a 25% increase. So
Amazing.
Judi, tell them why so
It
many
it
people
it
need
is.
apostilles.
It's amazing. Um, if you know Bill, then you know if you look Bill Soroka up in Webster's dictionary, it wouldn't be under his name, it would be under details. Because Bill likes details. I wrote a book with him, and on the 12th draft of the book, so Bill likes details. And Bill wanted to know how many apostilles have ever been issued anywhere, anytime, any place, and we could not get him that exact information. But he and I cornered, and I have to read it because it's a very long title. The Secretary General of the Hague Conference on Private International Law, while we were at the Montana Notary Conference, and we got an estimate. Now remember, this is 2 years ago. And 2 years ago, there were somewhere between 33 million and 55 million apostilles issued every year. And in
Well,
case
they lost count at 55 million.
they lost count at 55 million.
Yeah.
And in case you think you didn't hear me right, it's right there. 33 million to 55 million. And that was 2 years ago. So we're going to say closer to maybe 55 million to 70 million
Wow.
now. And let me just give you some real common examples of this. Bill mentioned destination weddings, for example. And lots of countries have apostille requirements when U.S. citizens are married within their borders. Remember Luke and Laura? So, in fact, some of these people have to get two apostilles, and sometimes it's four because it's two for the bride and two for the groom. And that's kind of almost like 250,000 apostilles. And if you've done 250,000 apostilles in the past year, I would like you to put a one in the chat. No ones. Me either. I can't put a one in the chat either. So I'm going to give you some examples. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Diamond Pritchard put a one in the chat.
I,
So
I think
I
there's some
guess he's
sarcasm
done.
there.
He
He's
guess
done.
he's done. Oh, Anthony. Oh, wait, we have more. We have more people that have. Oh, minus one. Oh,
There you
Anthony
go.
Herendon. That's pretty cool, Anthony. He's done minus one. All right. So we're going to say students traveling abroad, relocating to a foreign country, powers of attorney, big one, international adoptions, establishing business abroad, buying real estate in some countries, claiming an inheritance from someone in a foreign country, filing patents, trademarks, and other legal documents in a foreign country, FBI background checks, and of course, those international destination weddings. And honestly, this is just scratching the surface. There are pet documents now if you're going to move abroad. And then sometimes they need tax information if you're starting a new business. Countries can require an apostille or embassy legalization for any document they please. And remember that. Any document they please, they can ask for it. There are tens of millions of apostilles generated every year. Now, in November of 2023, China joined the Hague. And China joined the Hague. And at that time, when we were at the Montana conference, they had processed well over 800,000 apostilles in their first 8 months.
That's 100,000 a month.
That's 100,000 a month just from China.
Mhm.
Anybody had 800,000 from China? Diamond, did you put a one in the chat? Did you get 800,000 from China? Because speak up, speak up. All right. So that's why they need you. That the public doesn't know how to do this. Um, Sometimes they think they do because they read and they think they do, but it's really you who put the finishing touches and say the acknowledgement's not right, the loose certificate's not right, the you're not sending it to the right place. I mean, we go through all these things in our course. How do you determine the right place to be sending it? I've got to tell you, I've been in this business a long time now, and I've trained thousands of notaries over the years. And there are some misconceptions that people have about becoming an apostille agent or an apostille expert. So when we were doing this, I said to Bill, let's talk about the three biggest misconceptions that we get.
Yeah. I love this because right now we're going to go through the top three reasons that notaries literally just stop in their tracks when they hear about apostilles. And a lot of that is misinformation
Mhm.
on Facebook or YouTube and those types of things, right? But these are misconceptions and we want you to succeed. So we'll just clear all the obstacles for you today. So let's take a look at misconception number one. And Judi, I think I'll throw it over to you for this one because it's big.
So one of the most frequently asked questions I get from new students is, can I facilitate apostilles if I do not live near an SOS? I'm 8 hours away from the SOS. And the answer is yes. There are many ways that you can facilitate apostilles. So, of course, if you're lucky enough to live 15 minutes from the SOS, or the SOS happens to be next door to you, you can drive there, you can ride your bike there, you can walk there. Isn't that wonderful? And you can be in a position to offer expedited service. So somebody calls you at 12 noon and says, I got this document and I need it today. You can get it there today and you can double your fee. Okay. Um, Now, as long as the second way to get it there, and it has to meet with the client's timeline, is you can use FedEx or UPS, and you just have to make sure that that particular SOS office will accept them and will send them back. So I use Pennsylvania as a great example. They will accept a FedEx, but only send back a UPS. So if you don't know that and you send them two FedEx labels, one up and one back, they're gonna put your documents in an envelope. They're going to address it to you. They're going to stick a stamp on it, and you'll get it snail mail whenever you get it. So one of the things you want to do is check with the Secretary of State that you're working with to see what it is that they accept. Um, Now, we also have a huge network of vetted couriers, and those couriers are just standing there waiting for you to call to say, help me. So, for example, I have a courier in Illinois who is 15 minutes away from the SOS. So if I get Illinois work, I can send it to her. She can have it done the next morning and get it back to me. There are couriers all over this country and they are waiting for you and they will help you. And we have a website full of them. So I just want you to know that if you don't live near us, I don't live near a Secretary of State. I'm a 2.5 hour ride, and I get apostilles done all week long.
She's the queen of apostilles, and she's 2.5 hours away from her
Mhm.
Secretary of State. Yeah, that's pretty amazing. This network of
Mhm.
couriers helps make it possible to
Mhm.
facilitate in every state. That's really important.
Mhm.
Really important. So let's look at misconception number two. It's
Mhm.
my favorite misconception to tear down because personally, I love freedom to travel and I love to transact business when I'm on vacation. That's kind of the life that I wanted to create for myself. And I got this terrible case of wanderlust, or maybe a really good one, just depending on your perspective and the budget. One of my biggest disappointments, though, with my notary commission has been that I have to have my feet planted in the same state as my commission in order to make any money. The road is calling and I want to answer. And working as an apostille agent allows that to happen. You can organize and facilitate these from anywhere in the world,
Mhm.
thanks to that nationwide network of couriers or even shipping services if the timeline works for your client. So you can set up the systems, your Google business profile, your website, your online presence, start building connections, make that phone ring and ding.
Mhm.
And you talk to your clients, you quote the jobs, you quote the fee, and then you can outsource the actual work to this network of trusted and vetted couriers
Mhm.
wherever the documents happen to originate and need the apostillization.
Mhm.
And you can do that from the beach. You can do that from an RV traveling across the country. You can do that in an airplane, a boat, a different country, or yes, even Fantasy Island. Remember that show? Yeah, they just don't
Mhm.
make them like that anymore. So then let's look at misconception number three. We hear this a lot. It's hard to
Oh,
make
my
money
show,
because
my show.
this was it's hard to make money because notary fees are too low, right? And it's important that we talk about this and really just get clear on it that as an apostille agent, you're not acting in capacity as a notary public. So you're a completely independent expert and you're a consultant. And I know we touched on this a little bit earlier, but what you're doing is you're helping clients navigate the international document authentication process. It's multi-layered, multi-tiered. And because of that, you can charge for your expertise. You can charge for your time. And of course, all the expenses too. Now we get this all the time. Well, how much can we charge for apostilles? Well, it depends. Your going rate for apostilles has to depend on what the market will bear in your area.
Mhm.
But the best part, and the part I want you to really take home today, is that you will not have a legislated cap on your fees. The market's going to tell you, and you can find out what the market may bear through due diligence and research. Most of it can be done online. There are huge nationwide companies that do this and they put their pricing right on their website. It'll at least give you a ballpark of what you could be looking at. So
Okay, and
research.
Bill, just I want to make one suggestion here,
Yeah.
and that is, eh, do your own apostille of something that belongs to you.
Yeah.
Do a birth certificate, do your own birth certificate, and go in somewhere that's right close by to you and get them to process your birth certificate for an apostille. You're going to know right away what they're charging and how they're doing it and what their time frame is. It's an excellent way of doing this.
Let me tell you guys, we included two of these examples in our book and in the
Hmm.
course of they're both included in there on how to do this, just so you understand the process. But it's perfect for research as well, market research, right? There's
Hmm.
no better way to learn than to do. So we give you
Hmm.
those two examples as well. But this is just part of the due diligence process. You can um, one thing to really take home is like any product or service that you offer, if you're an entrepreneur, you're going to be paid in direct proportion to the value you bring the marketplace. So that's why it's so important to go the extra mile. Get the training, the education, build your network, start connecting. Like, look how you guys have used this chat to connect with each other. That's how you're going to bring more value to client relationships. That's how you build a lucrative business, one that not only lasts, but actually thrives no matter what is going on in the economy. And that brings us to the offer portion of today's training that we mentioned at the very beginning of the call. We told you one of the greatest lessons I have ever learned in business, a hard, very expensive lesson, was to take advice from those who have the results that you want. And Judi has earned her title as Queen of Apostilles for a reason. You know, her firm, it's called Center City Notary and Apostille. It dominates in downtown Philadelphia and well beyond. And she lives 2.5 hours from Harrisburg, the capital. And we have created this course called the World of Apostilles. And we're going to take just a few minutes. I want to tell you a little bit about it, how you can get it today at the lowest public price we've ever offered. And then we'll open this up for Q&A. So inside the course itself, there's about 60 individual and on-demand video lessons that will help you go from apostille novice to expert in international document authentication in no time. Each video has additional lessons, content, downloads, everything that you crave and wish for as a paper nerd is going to be included in this. You're also going to learn how to process documents for both Hague countries and non-Hague countries. And then Judi walks you through 10 of the most common documents that you're going to see presented for apostillization, so you can tap into her years of wisdom and experience and avoid the common pitfalls. And then, of course, we work together to share business and marketing tactics that help you get more work as an apostille agent, because that's the important part. And I'll tell you right now, guys, lots of people think that they're going to start apostilles. They just throw it on their Google business profile or they add it to their website and they sit back and wait for the phone to ring. It does not work that way. So we teach you how to do that. Plus, we never ignore online visibility. So we have a comprehensive way to boost your online visibility through keywords and phrases, content, all that good stuff. But of course, there's a ton more, but wait, there's more. I love saying that because Judi, listen, anyone can throw up a course and just send you on your way and disappear, right? It happens all the time. But Judi loves this work and she loves her students and she's committed to your success. So more than just 60 video lessons and the downloads and the course content, and of course, the digital badge and the certification that you get when you pass the test, you get world-class support directly with Judi, directly with me. So as you're making your way through the lessons, you're also going to be able to join for monthly study halls live on Zoom, where you can meet her, your fellow students, your other apostille couriers around the country, and ask anything you want. But the really cool part is once you're certified, you're like that deer in headlights, right? You're like, okay, I got the certification, now what? Judi gives you a one-on-one business implementation call, just you and her on the phone. So you can put the certification to work and start making money right away. And then as you continue to grow and you get new clients, and that's exciting, but it also freaks you out a little bit. She offers access to her via text messages. So all you have to do when you're nervous about a new client, and maybe you have some questions about what to say or how to move forward or how to determine the origin or whatever the weird situation is, right? Because your first one is always the weirdest situation you'll ever get. You send a text that says NCN, new client now. And then she schedules a call back with you and gets you the help that you need. And then we also include advanced study halls. So as you grow in experience and you want to scale your business, there's resources for that as well. So here's how to get started. I promised you that this would be the lowest price that we've ever publicly offered. And it is that. It is, if you buy the standalone course, it's just $149. It's a one-time fee. You get lifetime access. You could literally sign up right this instant, and by Monday, you could be certified if you have nothing else going on this weekend. There's 60 lessons in there, but you can do it. Then all you have to do is book your business implementation call so Judi can help you get started right away and be ready for your first customer. It can be that fast. And it's only $149 when you go to notarycoach.com/apostille. But we also wanted to add a little more value to this because that's just how we roll. So we added the three crazy bonuses as well. Yazzie asked the first question, how do you get more customers? We know that's your first question. So guess what we did? We included a marketing roundtable where you hear from active, high-performing apostille agents around the country, and they share the marketing that is working for them. So we have a whole section in the course where we teach this stuff. We teach how to implement it. You get access to daily dues, which are prospecting habits, but then we also include this straight from the mouth of the people who are doing the work. What's working? What's not? And this is all included in there. Plus, we include government administrator calls. These are people that work at the competent authority, the ones who are receiving and rejecting sometimes those apostilles. So you get to hear directly from them on current trends, technology shifts, common errors and pitfalls, and how to avoid them, all of that. And then we also have one with Lori Ham, where she actually teaches the e-apostille opportunity and how having a Montana Ron notary friend opens up the entire world for you for that. And finally, we've been mentioning our book several times today, so we're just going to give you a PDF version of that book. And that's a best-selling book with rave reviews. You're going to love that. Mm. Combined, you'll have everything you need to get this business going. And it's all yours for $149. It's a one-time payment. And you have forever access to the course material. That means you can come back, review it anytime. In fact, we encourage you to do that, even after you pass the final quiz. So if you're ready to tap into this with international document authentication on the rise, a 25% increase, jump in and join us now. And as you join the course, let us know. Let us welcome you since we're on here. We're going to be on here for a while answering questions. And then, did I already do this one?
Yep.
So that's the standalone course. Guys, if you happen to be part of my school community, it's very easy to get access to the course as well. You can buy the standalone course inside the school community, again, for the $149. Or if you want access to all the other courses that we offer and the certification programs and the framework for implementation, you can upgrade to VIP and get that too. I'll include that link for you as well. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for donating so much of your time to your own growth, growing yourself and your business on a Thursday. Now yeah, there's Carol. Let's open this up for questions. I know you've got them and you're in the perfect place to ask them of both Judi and myself. So I think there's a few in there. I'll go back through there. Okay. We can use the raise hand feature too. If you'd like to ask a question live, please
just say hello. If you'd like to ask a question or just to say hello.
All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, so Corey has a couple questions. So I have a few questions. How does auditing work on apostilles?
I'm sorry, how does what?
Hold on, so how does auditing work on apostilles since notaries in Pennsylvania are subject to auditing? So Corey, these are two separate hats you're going to be wearing, right? You're not going to be audited by any government authority on apostille work that you've done. If you happen to be the notary of record, the only thing that you would be subject to is the Secretary of State of Pennsylvania's audits. There's no auditing outside of that. What are the bonding requirements? Okay, good question. Again, there are no bonding requirements. This is not a regulated industry. Three.
But you can if you have insurance, you can let your insurance company know that you're doing international work just so that they add it to your binder or whatever they keep on you. And if you ever have a claim, you've already told the underwriting company that that's what you do.
That's perfect, Judy. That was her next question. What
Okay.
level of E&O insurance should I get? So that's completely up to you guys. Remember, this is your risk tolerance. But as Judy said, it's recommended if you have a professional liability policy, just to let them know that, hey, I'm adding international document services.
Mhm,
Just to make sure that's covered.
mhm.
And then how do you get away from the state required fee? Do you charge admin fees above the state requirement? Again, just to clarify here, these are totally, completely separate, right? You do not have to be a notary public to be an apostille agent. So if you happen to be the notary of record, if you do the notarization, you want to conform to your state requirements. But most people bundle it all together, just like a loan signing. You're doing all this other work and you just happen to stamp. So it's almost like you're giving the notary the notarization for free. It's just included in this blanket fee. So you're not going above your state regulated fees for that. Because sometimes they've already got it notarized somewhere else. You don't even have to notarize anything. You just make sure it's correct. And then you're charging a bundled fee for all the other services that you provide. And is there a test needed for this certification? Yes, there's a test needed for this certification. It's relatively short and simple. You can take it as many times as you want or need to. It's more important to us that you understand the content so you can go back and relearn the information to make sure that you get the test correct. And once you graduate, you get a digital badge, you get a digital certificate that's verifiable through the blockchain. So you can put that on social media, your email signatures, or whatever it is, and hiring parties can check back to it and see that you are certified through Notary Coach. And here's what the program looks like.
And
Is the training live or pre-recorded? It's pre-recorded. Video on demand is most of the lessons of the course. And then there's lots of live components too. The study halls, the advanced study halls. There's Apostille Talk About It Tuesdays with Judi and her team. So there's lots of ways to participate live. Great questions. Now let's bring up Rena. She has her hand up. Hi,
Hi.
Rena.
Hi, how are you?
Fantastic. Thanks for
hi,
being here. How
Rena.
can we help?
Hi, Judy. Quick question. I bought the course last year. I haven't been able to really get started on it. A lot of things going on, but I do want to get it started for my business next year, heavy. So my question is, the course that I bought previous, is it still applicable or do we need the new course? Is there newer pertinent information?
Yeah, Rena. So there has been lots of updates, but you likely have them all. We update it right in the course material, both whether it's in school or whether it's on the Notary Coach website. So it's constantly updated and revised, but you'll have access to it. And if anything doesn't look right, you can email me at orders@notarycoach.com and I'll type that into the chat as well, and we'll get you taken care of.
Okay, so I don't need to purchase the new one then.
Absolutely not. Yeah, not required at all.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're
Thank
welcome. Great
you.
question.
Hey, Liz.
Yeah. Hey,
Hey,
Liz.
excuse me, I'm sorry. I have a turtle in my throat. Don't tell anybody. Anyway, I just purchased your course because I'm really interested in this. My question to you is, I did some research because I do a lot of research. Do and The Secretary of State is 6 hours away, and I know you mentioned courier, but is just also mailing service. Is
Mhm.
that an option?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you have two tools at your disposal here that Judi shared with us. One is using shipping like FedEx,
Mhm.
UPS, or whatever, right? As long as that timeline fits with your customer's needs. And the other option you have is tapping into the nationwide network of apostille couriers,
Okay.
where you hire them directly. You'll work out your own deal and arrangement with them. They'll all have their own individual fees and levels of service, but you can tap into them, and you can do this for any state. If you get a document that's an Alaskan birth certificate, that has to be apostillized in Alaska. So you got to have somebody up in Alaska that's willing to go to the lieutenant governor's office, right?
Right.
So we have all of that for you. It's pretty
So
amazing.
one more question. And what was my question? So if the individual needs it right away, so you said the courier, I can hire a courier to get it right away. Is that what you're saying?
Where are you, Liz? Where are you located?
I'm in Las Vegas. I'm in Nevada.
Okay, so we have couriers in Las Vegas that
Okay.
that can help and will help. And if you're in Las Vegas, but let's say your document needs to be done in Pennsylvania, then we
Okay.
have people in Pennsylvania. So there are people all over the country that can help you. It's just a question of when you need help and how you need help, and we're there for you. As Bill
I
said,
appreciate you.
this
Yeah.
is not a group. It has my name attached to it. And this is not a group where we take your money, you take our course, and then you call on the phone and there's no answer. This is not it. That's not what Bill and that's not how we roll.
Well, I
So
know Bill. I don't know him personally, but I know he's been around for many, many years.
many,
Many
many
years.
years. He's
Yes, I'm aware of
105.
that. Mhm.
Not many, 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 many
He's
years. Just
105. In September, will be 105.
Well, I really appreciate. I can't wait to start the course because I'm really interested in this.
Good. Well,
Thank
we
you.
look forward
awesome.
to working with you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. And we had one question here, Judy. I just want to jump in. I want to just show this too.
Okay.
Inside High Performance Notary on the school platform, when you upgrade to VIP, it includes the reverse mortgage, the Sign and Thrive course, the Google Business Profile course, my Morning Mastery, everything you see on the screen, and then some, guys. It's all 5 of my books, or all 5 of my notary books. And then we also meet once a week for a strategic planning session where you plan out your top 3 priorities for the week to move your business forward. We regroup again on Wednesday to check in on your progress on those goals. And then every single day, I prompt you in the community and just say, hey, what are you working on today? What are your top 3 biggest goals today that are going to move you forward on your goals? That's the kind of accountability and momentum that we create inside High Performance Notary. It has all these great courses that are important. They help you stand out, but you know this already. You don't have an information problem. You have an implementation problem. And High Performance Notary fixes that. If you get dialed in and you do the work every single day to put yourself in front of prospects, in front of people who might hire you, or at least refer you to other people who might hire you, and take action to boost your online visibility, you are going to build a business that thrives. You're going to hit your revenue goals. What I teach in there is exactly what I did and what I currently do as I'm growing all the other multifaceted parts of my business. But this work is what drug me from the pits, as scraping by as a notary with that. So this business almost became my 27th business failure. But luckily I pulled my head out of my rear end and I said, why can't I make this work? I can make this work. And for 90 days, I committed to sending emails, popping in, reaching out every single day to people who might need my services. And it turned my entire life around. So yes, $49 per month is the subscription price for High Performance Notary on the school platform, and you get access to all of those. And just a fair warning, guys, as of January 1st, the price of that community is going up. So if you want to lock in $49 forever, now's the time to do so. All right, great questions. Let's keep going. Do you suggest carrying general liability and E&O insurance? You know, I think
We get asked that question a lot. I think general liability is if you have a brick and mortar business or you have people coming to your home. Um, I carry it because I have a brick and mortar business, but I'm not sure you need general liability. But I'll tell you who you can call. Beberk or Byberk, however you pronounce it. They are wonderful and they will spend time with you and they will tell you. And their number is, I'm going to put it in the chat. It's 844-472-0967. Putting it in the chat right now.
I got it for you.
I did it.
They're a Berkshire Hathaway company, so they've got great
They
customer
are
service.
wonderful and they will spend time with you and they will answer your questions and they will tell you what they feel you need. Better you should ask them than us because they're the experts.
Yeah. And here's the thing, guys. Insurance is to help mitigate risk. So if you have a high risk tolerance, it may not be important to you. If you have a low risk tolerance, it might be very important to you. So you get to decide that. Okay,
Right.
so Tracy says, can you re-explain misconception number 2? Why would I have an apostille from another state? Would that just be someone from there contacting me? Yeah, that's a great question. And you will learn all about this. But this is the huge takeaway here is that the state that the person is in or you're in does not determine where the document needs to be apostillized. What determines that is where the document originated. And yes, if you notarize that document, maybe it will suddenly originate in your state.
That is something that you have to get used to. And we talk about all the different kinds of scenarios.
Yeah.
So, I go to visit Bill, and while I'm there, I want Bill to apostille my power of attorney. And Bill says, sure, I'll do it. I'll do it while you're here. But I take it out of my bag and it was notarized back in Pennsylvania. So Bill has to apostille it for me in Pennsylvania because that's where it was notarized. But if I visit Bill and I pull the same document out and it was never signed or notarized, then we can sign it, notarize it, and he can apostille it right where he is. So you'll learn all about that when you get training. That's not a one and done easy answer.
Yeah. And so this is highlights the value that you can bring because imagine, it's kind of confusing to us already, and we work with documents all day long. Imagine what it feels like when you're just out in the world, you're not used to these processes, and somebody says, oh, you have to get an apostille, and you think, oh, I'll just go to my Secretary of State's office, but it's a document that was notarized in Idaho, or maybe your birth certificate was from Arizona and now you're in New York. There's so many layers to this, but we teach that. You will be a pro. If you were to sign up for today's course, go through it, you'd be a pro by Monday.
And you have me, and you can lean on me.
Yep.
So, does anybody else have any questions? Would you like to raise your hand? And if you just want to come up and say hello, that's okay too.
We've got a few questions here. Monica says, are apostille services available in Virginia? Not sure this is true, but I was told Virginia has different rules. So,
Apostille services in Virginia are available, but you need an appointment to get them done. Everything runs in Virginia by appointment. And so you would have to learn how to make that appointment. And you would have to tell your client in the beginning, the first appointment we can get is December 30th or whatever, so that your client doesn't have false expectations that you're going to be able to get that done tomorrow. No courier, nobody can get them done without an appointment. That's how they roll.
but the couriers can take those appointments for them, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So guys, and I'm going to piggyback on that just to really make this clear. Every single state facilitates or processes apostilles with or without you. So the competent authority in every single state does apostilles. That means that there is room for you to be an apostille agent to help the public facilitate and navigate that process. And always remember, kind of dovetailing onto what we've been talking about a little earlier, some of the documents that you encounter will need to be apostillized in the state that you're in, but many of them will need to be apostillized in other states. That's just the nature of it. The
Yes.
document originates in another state. That's where it has to be apostillized. So that's why leveraging shipping companies like FedEx and UPS and this network of vetted apostille couriers that we have for you helps you get this work done.
And that's also why you don't want to go on Facebook where people are telling you just put it in an envelope and mail it. That's just not right. You have to know what you're mailing, where you're mailing it, what their requirements are. So, for example, Pennsylvania is $15 an apostille, but Illinois is $2 an apostille. California is $25. So you need to know, and you cannot under any circumstances, you cannot just put them in an envelope and send them somewhere because it's going to be a waste of your time and your client's time and money.
Great advice there. Let's see. Beautiful. I think we've hit all the questions here. I don't see any hands up. I think we've addressed them all in the
Okay.
chat. Let's go ahead and wrap it up here, guys. Judi, thank you so much again for sharing your wisdom and your experience with us. I love working with you on this. And for those of you who shared your Thursday morning and afternoon with us, thank you for growing yourself and your business. We hope to see you inside the course, inside the community on School. It's vibrant, it's engaged, and we're excited to watch you grow in 2026.
And remember, guys, we have lots of stuff going on. We have study halls. We have events. We're having a Christmas party. Once you're with us, you're stuck with us. You're never going to get away from us.
So true. All right. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye bye.